if I didn't take down the podcast and issue a public apology. Said they expected financial compensation for the damage to their reputations. I forwarded it to Melissa, then to my lawyer, Marcus. He called me immediately. This is empty threatening, he assured me. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Save everything but don't respond. I'll handle it if they actually file anything, which I doubt they will. People who are actually going to sue don't usually announce it first. The next day, I got a call from Michael. I let it go to voicemail. He sounded panicked. Emma, Jenny told me she visited you. Our parents are furious. They're saying terrible things about her now too. I'm scared they're going to try something desperate. Please call me back on Jenny's phone, not mine. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Called Marcus again. He suggested meeting Michael and Jenny somewhere public, with him present as my lawyer, just to hear them out. I agreed reluctantly. We set up a meeting at a restaurant near Marcus's office for the next day. They showed up on time. Both looked terrible, stressed, exhausted. Jenny had a bruise on her arm she kept trying to hide. Michael couldn't make eye contact. I'm Marcus, Emma's attorney, he said as we sat down, which made Michael flinch. But we sat down, ordered coffee, and they started talking. The story that came out was worse than I'd imagined. My parents had been living off Michael for years, moving in and out of his house, taking money for emergencies, watching his kids while criticizing his parenting. When Jenny confronted them about me, my dad had grabbed her arm, hard enough to leave marks. Michael had kicked them out. They were now staying in a motel, calling constantly, showing up at his work. I listened without interrupting, watched my brother break down as he described how our parents had controlled him his entire life, how they'd convinced him I abandoned them, how he'd been too scared to question their version of events, how he'd been trapped in their web of manipulation and lies for 12 years, how he was terrified they would hurt Jenny or the kids. Marcus asked careful questions about financial entanglements, about house titles and bank accounts, about whether my parents had keys to their house. Michael answered everything, said they'd co-signed his mortgage, said his dad was still on his bank account from when he was in college, said they had spare keys, said they knew all his passwords. Marcus took notes, occasionally glancing at me. By the end of the meeting, I felt drained but clearer. This wasn't just about me anymore. Michael and Jenny were victims too, in their own way. Different from me, but still trapped. Marcus suggested they speak to a lawyer of their own, gave them a colleague's card, told them to change their locks, passwords, and bank accounts immediately. They nodded, looking overwhelmed but grateful. As we were leaving, Michael hugged me. This time, I hugged him back. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was something. A recognition that we'd both been damaged by the same people, that maybe we could help each other heal. That night, I got a series of increasingly unhinged texts from my parents' numbers. Accusations, threats, guilt trips. I blocked them all. Then I called Jenny, asked if they were safe. She said yes. They'd changed the locks, stayed with friends the night before, were looking into a restraining order. I felt relieved but still worried. The next morning, I woke up to my phone ringing. It was Jenny, hysterical. They broke into our house, she sobbed. They took Lily's baby photos, important documents, Michael's laptop. They left a note. Family matters should stay in the family. I told her to call the police immediately, said I'd meet them at their house, called Marcus on my way. When I arrived, there was a police car outside their house. An officer was taking statements in the living room. The place was a mess. Drawers pulled out, papers scattered. Michael was sitting on the couch, head in his hands. Jenny was pointing out missing items to the officer. I introduced myself as family, there to help. The officer seemed skeptical that grandparents would break in. Are you sure they didn't just use a key? He asked. Maybe this is a misunderstanding? Jenny showed him her bruised arm, told him about the escalating behavior, about the threats, about how they'd been stalking them. He took notes but didn't seem convinced. Said with